What is up, and welcome to another edition of the Mile High Hoops podcast. As always, I am your host, Zach By, and as always, I appreciate you spending a sliver of your busy day with me here on the pod, reacting to a game that had the past, the present, and the future all wrapped up into one. Also, NBA MVP straw poll, final iteration from Tim Bontemps of ESPN. It is out. The results are revealing. We'll get to that momentarily. But this is one of those episodes, guys, where the most previous game is almost 48 hours in the rear view, and the next game is less than 12 hours through the windshield. So not going to spend too much time dwelling on the Spurs game, but there are just two fun of takeaways. Not anything meaningful, big picture, but just interwoven within this Nuggets story. I think there's really cool stuff from Tuesday night. And then I want to talk about the MVP again. So Tuesday night, San Antonio Spurs at home. Nuggets win a sloppy game. All right. It was 110 to 105. And it's guys, this is March basketball. Even though there is still something to play for from a seeding standpoint, these guys know, much like a senior in high school who has meaningful exams coming up, they know the weather is getting nice. They don't want to be in class. They're already looking ahead to their summer plans. Not necessarily with Nuggets like looking ahead to summer plans, but you know where you are on the schedule. And some of this basketball here in the last 6-7 games, it's going to be sometimes disjointed. I think sometimes even cringy. It's March basketball. It's chaotic. It's kind of like maybe the first week of the season for different reasons, whereas at the start of the season, random stuff happens. You just don't know what you're going to expect. Same thing for the last week or two of the season. It just kind of gets a little bit silly. And there was portions of that game on Tuesday evening that had some of those dynamics involved, because the Spurs are really bad, guys. The Spurs are 18 wins, 58 losses. On the road, they're 8-30. I mean, they suck, okay? But they have a player that will have your jaw on the floor. Victor Wembanyama is turning into a player that for NBA fans, you have to see in person. He is an anomaly. He is a freak show. Like, what if you go to the fair, and there's, I don't even know if they have these anymore because it's so like maybe insensitive or something. But like when I was growing up, you could like go to the fair. And it was in Hamburg, New York. The Erie County Fair in New York State. It's the world's largest county fair, it was billed as. And you could go in and participate in everything that the fair had to offer. And there was like this trailer. And if you paid more money, you could like go into this big freaking trailer and you could see like oddities, like twins that were born and are still like together, never separated. And they're like in like a container of like, not fermenting, but like preserving. And there'd be like a bearded lady or what have you, right? Victor Wembanyama belongs in one of those trailers. I mean, there is only one human being walking planet Earth that looks like that and moves like that. And when I say moves like that, moves with grace and precision at 7'4", that has fine motor skills to dribble a basketball in ways that we've never seen a big man handle it like that. And maybe a really short list, Bull, a few others. But you think about the way like Yao Ming or Greg Oden lumbered around the floor at their size. It's not like that with Victor Wembanyama. It's incredible. And he almost had a double on a night where he didn't even shoot it well. She was 9-29 from the floor, 2 of 11 from 3. So had some ugly moments. But at the end of the day, you look at the final box score, 23 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists, and I can't believe this last part, 9 blocks. 9 blocks. He is a rookie. He turned 20 years old during this season. Guys, I remember being on the radio last year, and I was working with Brandon Stokely at the time, and he said, what are your expectations for this can't-miss prospect? And Wemby was billed as the best basketball prospect since LeBron. Some called him the greatest prospect of all time. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to expect offensively for a teenager in the best basketball league in the world. But I said, here's what I'm fairly certain of. Victor Wembanyama is going to be an instant game changer defensively. Instant. Because at that size and that God-given wingspan and length, with his acumen, he's not a dumb player, okay? He's smart. And here was the most important component, playing as hard as he does. When you have that kind of God-given gift and length and height, and you play that hard, and you know what you're doing, that's going to translate on a night-to-night basis. And look who's leading the league in blocks. As a rookie, it's Victor Wembanyama. We are seeing something that I believe, like if he's a stock, he is like, he's Apple stock. He's Microsoft in the late 90s. I mean, unless he gets hurt, this kid is just going to accumulate numbers and rewrite especially defensive record books on the rebounding and block shots side of things. And also when you watch him play, it's like how many, we used to call them psychological blocks. When you don't get the block in reality and you don't get it as a stat, but you alter shots. Like more guys do U-turns going to the basket. Like, whoa, you ever seen that gif where like the baby comes around the corner? It's like, whoa, I can't go there. And he's got to do like a U-turn. That's what NBA players do when they see Victor Wembanyama at 7'4" with arms that hang by his knees, is standing in the paint. Like, don't go in there. Your shot's going to end up in the fourth row. Make another choice, right? So I'm just fascinated by it. And Jokic, to whatever degree you want to quantify it, if you watch the game, he took it seriously. Like Jokic to take 32 shots is unusual. He took 13 shots in the first quarter, right? So I'm not saying he took a personal, like, I am threatened by him. I think it's like I'm so intrigued by him that I'm going to take this seriously and I'm going to go at him. And it was interesting, like, and I've called Jokic like basketball artificial intelligence, like basketball AI. And that was a good example why, is because in the first handful of possessions and quarters, he's like downloading Victor Wembanyama. Like, who is this? What do I need on my shot to get this off? Oh, he just tossed it. That's not going to do it. That amount of space is not going to do it. That shoulder bump to create that space, that's not going to be enough. Oh, I have to use the rim as a protectant. So instead of when he's on my back finishing on the strong side, I actually have to go reverse because the rim is going to help me get away from his swatting arms. So just stuff like that I found absolutely fascinating. And I could keep going on about this, but I'm not going to because we don't have enough time and I want to get to some of this other stuff. But really fun dynamic that I can't wait to watch moving forward for really years to come. What does it look like in year 4? Year 4 when he's, 23. That's where it's going to get like, wow, is this guy a league MVP? So really fun dynamic. Okay, other stuff. Jamal's still not back. All right, I'm going to get out of the trenches of this game and just move forward big picture with the team. Jamal's still not back. Ankle, shin splints, right knee inflammation. He's now missed, you're talking like we're going on 3 weeks of basketball. Last time he played was March 21st. At the time of recording, I think, April 4th? April 4th. We haven't seen Jamal in quite a while, and he's now missed as many games as the Nuggets have in front of them. All right, so this is now becoming significant. And is the injury significant? Don't know. It's clouded in mystery. Was there a setback? When did the knee pop up on the radar? All right, because we watch every game, right? I watch every game. There was nothing that happened during a game, so I don't know what the significance is. And it's like, well, it can't be that significant if he's going through warmups. Well, he was going through warmups a week and a half ago. Why is he still not playing? And then also tuck this into the conversation. Jamal, the reason that he hasn't been an all-star yet is because he is a notorious slow starter, all right? And that's typically been to the season, but when you take this much time off, what kind of runway does he need to get into not basketball shape, but playoff shape? And those are two different things. And like suicides aren't going to cut it. And I don't even know if he's doing that. Scrimmages aren't going to cut it. It's going to have to be playing in games. And there's only a handful left in the season. So that is a dynamic that's hard to ignore. This team is not winning anything without Jamal Murray. And we talked about the first round threat on Tuesday. if things don't break right and Jamal, for some reason, let's say he tries to come back with 3 games left. Let's say he comes back tonight against the Los Angeles Clippers. It's Tuesday or Thursday, April 4th. The game's later tonight on TNT. And maybe by the time you're listening to this, it already has a resolution. But just bear with me here. Let's say he comes back tonight and later in the week gets hurt or has a setback tonight, or we don't see him. In any of those combinations, like if you go into the first round against the wrong matchup, Phoenix, Dallas, Lakers, I don't know how it's going to break, you guys. There's only a handful of teams I think the Nuggets can beat in the first round without Jamal Murray. All right? These are the razor-thin margins that we're dealing with. And if you want to hear a more expansive conversation about that, hit up Tuesday's episode of the Mile High Hoops podcast. All right, I want to talk about the MVP. I want to talk about the straw poll. Tim Bontemps has created a cottage industry with this straw poll. It started a couple years ago. It's the final iteration, and it gives the clearest picture of who's going to win this award. It's going to be Jokic. All right, we know that. All right, SGA finished second in this voting. Let me just give you the point totals here. Nikola Jokic had 85 of the 100 first place votes. 85 of the 100. So the clear lion's share there. SGA had 10 of the first place votes, and then the other 2 were split up between Giannis and Giannis got a pair. Jason Tatum still got a pair. Why? Not sure. He hasn't been the best player on his team for like 5 or 6 weeks. But it's voting. There's human beings involved. It's going to be flawed. But Jokic, far and away, and I've been using this phrase, he's going to gallop across the finish line for his 3rd MVP like one of his Serbian horses. And when he does that, I've given you the list before, but I'm going to again, just because it's hyper relevant as we're on the doorstep of it. There's been 8 players in NBA history that have 3 NBA MVPs. They are Bill Russell. It is Wilt Chamberlain. It is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It is Moses Malone. It is Larry Bird. It is Magic Johnson. It is Michael Jordan. And it is LeBron James. You do not need all 10 fingers for the list, but you will need a 9th finger in the next month when Jokic is going to win his 3rd. And the crazy thing is, it probably should be his 4th in a row. And like right now, Jokic should be crossing the finish line and having as many regular season MVPs as LeBron James at 29 years old. Telling you guys, for people around the country that aren't on the Jokic train and aren't bending the knee and accepting that we are watching one of the greatest players of all time, you are going to watch them squirm in their seat to an uncomfortable degree that I would actually pay money to watch. Okay, we're going to leave it there for now. I hope you guys are doing great. There's just a couple games left in the season. Need to get Jamal back. This is what the rest of the schedule looks like before we get out of here. It's the Clippers tonight on TNT. I hope you enjoy that game if you don't regularly get to watch as a Comcast customer. But beyond that, it's the Atlanta Hawks at home. It's a one-off road trip in Utah on Tuesday. They'll play a back-to-back on Wednesday against the Minnesota Timberwolves. How relevant is that game? We'll talk about that next week. We have plenty of time. And then there's a 2-game road trip to finish up at San Antonio and at Memphis. 2 teams that will not be trying. This is setting up to where the Denver Nuggets can win some games, potentially flirt with their team record of 57 wins, which would be the most of all time. They're sitting at 53, all right? And then with an opportunity to get some rest maybe in those last 2 games ahead of the NBA playoffs, which start April 20th. That is 16 days from where we sit right now. Guys, I hope you're doing great. We'll leave it there for now. Whatever happens against the Clippers and over the weekend against the Atlanta Hawks at home, we'll be back here on Tuesday talking about it right here on the